The following is a paid program that is paid for by Planet TV Studios.
Welcome. I'm William Shatner. The search for new medical advances brings hope and optimism. Let's discover amazing medical advances and new breakthroughs today on New Frontiers.
Sitting at the edge of West Texas lies a beacon of hope as the largest transnational city of El Paso is pushing the limits of frontier surgery on complex cranial and facial deformities. Among them, the most common condition, which is craniosynostosis.
Craniosynostosis is a condition that affects infants and newborns. When we're born, the skull, instead of being one single plate, is made up of multiple separate plates. These plates are joined together by seams, and as the brain grows over the next several years, the seams expand, and as they expand, new bone gets added and more new skull grows along with the brain. In the case of craniosynostosis, the suture of an infant thinks that the patient is 18 years old and it closes prematurely. But what happens is that over the ensuing weeks and months and years, the brain continues to grow. Consequently, a number of changes develop, a number of problems happen to the child, a number of deformities occur, which leads to the need for treating this problem.
At El Paso Children's Hospital in Texas, they are led by Dr. David Yates in the treatment of complex cranial and facial deformities. This multidisciplinary team is nationally recognized by the ACPA and consists of medical doctors, surgeons, nurses, physical therapists, case managers, and more, all dedicated to saving the lives of every single child that steps into the El Paso Children's Hospital facility.
One thing that is unique with these kids is that the face is the first thing anybody sees. So not only do they have the breathing problems, the feeding problems, the problems just chewing their food. This kid can't chew his food. I mean, you can imagine if he tries to bite into a hamburger, it just all slides out. So not only do they have these functional deformities, but they also have very, very deforming facial appearances. And obviously, this can really affect the child's psychological development as well as how they view themselves.
My name is Jenna Lowell. This is my daughter, Daphne. When she was born, we found out that she actually had a couple of issues. Her jaw was very small, was very recessed. She had problems sucking, swallowing, coughing, gagging, the whole thing. She was pretty much on oxygen almost 24/7. Dr. Yates decided to see her and he was like, oh yeah, we can fix this, no problem. He decided to move it 2 centimeters forward just in case. And once that happened, everything kind of just clicked for her. So I just, I'm so thankful every day that we decided to go through with it.
Under Dr. Yates' leadership, the Cranial and Facial Clinic comprehensively treats the most complex cranial facial deformities. This clinic allows all the experts to be here at one time for our patients and truly provide convenience of care.
I think what differentiates our hospitals from other hospitals who treat these disorders is, number one, our multi-specialty approach. It's a team approach. Number two, we use the most advanced technology in the care for these kids, whether it be from the surgical planning stages to the actual surgery itself. And three, our team is incredibly collaborative. And it's made up of multiple specialists, and not only just specialists, but specialists who are renowned in this country for what they do and in the world. And Dr. Jimenez is world-renowned for his invention of the endoscopic minimally invasive craniosynostosis technique, which has radically changed the way this surgery is done around the world.
We're at El Paso Children's Hospital to understand their revolutionary approach to treating cranial synostosis with minimally invasive techniques that provide comfort to parents and hope and healing for their children.
The cool thing about the endoscopic craniosynostosis surgery is that it can be done very rapidly and very effectively. So instead of the child being in the operating room for hours and hours, the average time is around 55 minutes or so. The baby stays in overnight and gets discharged the following day. After surgery, they get scanned for a special helmet. This helmet helps guide the brain in the direction that we want. Baby wears the helmet 23 hours a day. Babies get used to the helmet. To them, it's like having a onesie on or socks. They don't even tell that they have it on. And then once they reach a certain age, we stop with the helmet therapy.
A child is the greatest gift a parent can ever receive. The staff and physicians see each patient as family. Being at the frontier of medical advancements allows EPCH to continue to become an epicenter for the future of cranial and facial deformity surgeries.
Robotic surgery, fascinating technology that will take us into the 21st century.
Imagine taking your next family road trip without plugging the destination into your GPS. How successful would you be in getting to where you wanted to be? There's a good bet you'd get lost. You'd have to stop to ask directions, and it would probably take you much longer to get to your destination, leading to unnecessary frustration. In medicine, just like in life, a roadmap is a necessity to know where you want to go and the best way to get there. Today, no field of science epitomizes this concept better than spinal robotics.
Imagine that we had an architectural building, and we had to fix this building, and all we had was a 2D blueprint, like an MRI or a CAT scan. It would be very difficult to fix this building, and you would really narrow the architect's scope and vision. But then now imagine you have a 3D GPS platform. You have a map telling you where to go. And then imagine you can execute that with perfect precision with robotics. And that's why robotics and navigation are so important.
Before we delve into spinal robotics, let's first tackle the spine. It's arguably the most important part of your body, controlling your ability to move, sleep, and perform basic tasks like sitting, picking up objects, and walking.
The spine has two major functions. Number one, it is the center of your motion and balance. Every time you move your hand, your head, your legs, the spine counterbalances. This allows you to do extraordinary large motions and very delicate motions. The spine also houses your spinal cord and your nerves, which are extensions of your brain. So without the spine, there is no motion, and motion is life.
Despite preventative measures to protect our spine, it is susceptible to deterioration and injury. This is where advancements in technology have enabled medical professionals to use spinal navigation to enhance the efficacy of the most basic to the most complex of surgeries. Widespread adoption of complex robotics has been slow. A small percent of spinal surgeons in hospitals across the U.S. utilize intraoperative spinal navigation.
Since 2014, this hospital and I have been dedicated towards advancing spinal surgery to the highest level of advancement. We started doing navigation spine surgery when less than 1% of the nation was adopting navigation. Currently, we've done over 1,000 cases per surgeon, and now we're adopting spinal robotics.
Today, more doctors are embracing robotics as a necessary tool in both the pre-planning phase and in the execution of an array of surgeries, including spinal fusion, artificial disc replacement, discectomy, laminectomy, and spinal reconstructions. Similarly, the successful use of robotics and spinal navigation requires medical professionals who understand the proper way to use them and how they should be applied in each case. Among the earliest adopters of this avant-garde technology was Dr. Anthony Kim, a neurosurgeon at Mission Hospital in Mission Viejo, California.
My original condition started about 4 years ago with extreme back pain and loss of function and weakness in my left leg. Turns out I had herniated discs at my L4, L5, and S1 levels. I met Dr. Kim about 1.5 years ago, and he recommended that I have a spinal fusion surgery. So he went in to work on my back, put in cages, rods, and screws, untangled all of my nerve damage. He's been so supportive of what I needed to get back to, a very active life on the stage, dancing and singing and performing, 8 times a week. And of course, if you look him up, Anything you read about him is absolutely wonderful, and I can't say enough wonderful things about him.
As the field of robotics continues to evolve, the need for continuous practice and training is critical for spinal surgeons throughout the country.
There is one aspect of the spinal robotics and navigation that will be important for future generations of spine surgeons. As spine surgeons are coming out now, there's a lot more demand on their time, but there are fewer hours of training. So these are surgeons coming out fresh without experience. And then how do they do surgery safe on their patients without that experience? So one way is spinal robotics and navigation. These are literally the safeguards in your car. So if your car veers off the road, the car will stop. If your car is about to hit another car, the car will stop. And likewise, robotics and the navigation piece are there to make the surgeon, to protect the surgeon from harming the patient.
As the field of robotics continues to evolve, the need for continuous practice and training is critical for spinal surgeons throughout the country.
The opportunity to make this world a better place has never been better. Join us today in discovering those that are making a difference in our world.
In America, there has long been a debate over healthcare that has centered around affordability and accessibility. Missing from this conversation is one critical element: quality of care. This glaring omission has limited choice for consumers while placing a burden on already overworked physicians. It's a system that is unsustainable, inefficient, and doesn't meet the needs of patients.
One of the biggest problems in healthcare today, from both the patient or the consumer's standpoint, as well as the provider or the clinician's standpoint, is there's been an erosion of that doctor-patient relationship. There are so many levels of third-party entities that have come between the patient and the doctor that the fundamentals of what you're trying to achieve when you're taking care of a patient has been compromised. Ultimately, the first do no harm that we all talk about in medicine when we take our oath is really about what does that individual patient need at the moment you're seeing them. But as a clinician, if you're constantly worrying about hitting a certain metric, your ability as a provider to actually spend the time that you need with the patient and have that conversation with them is non-existent.
Despite the difficulties posed by our nation's healthcare system, there is hope for consumers seeking improved alternatives to their medical treatment. Known as Concierge Medicine, it started in the mid-1990s by doctors who were troubled by the lack of quality time they had with patients and the growing concern that many of their patients' needs were not being addressed.
Over the years, Concierge Medicine has now morphed into something where it's become the ability for the provider and the patient to create a very personalized relationship where the provider knows their patients very well, they have a smaller practice size, there's increased access to the provider to really provide that personalized level of care.
Just south of Los Angeles, in Mission Viejo, California, Colvita Family Medical Group is serving as a case study for how concierge medicine, when combined with direct primary care, is a proven effective option for people seeking a highly personalized level of care, while providing stability in their overall healthcare costs.
Our patients pay a membership fee annually, and under that membership fee, they basically get access to anything that we can do here in our family practice office. And the benefits are widespread, and you're looking at things like having that doctor that's available 24/7. You'll have the ability to have visits with your doctor that last longer than the 10 to 15 minutes that you hear about at most offices. Most of our patients have 45 minutes to an hour per appointment because we don't have that many patients at that time, so we have the ability to give them as much time as they need. We also have the ability to do house calls. If a patient, an elderly patient, say, can't get to the office, we have the ability to go see them at home.
Under our current healthcare system, there's a cost attached to nearly every test. That's not the case at Colvita Family Medical Group, which offers an array of in-house services, including EKGs, vaccines, injections, common prescription medications for common illnesses, Class 4 laser therapy, and more at no additional cost to their patients.
In traditional healthcare right now, patients are just a number. You'll be lucky to see your provider or talk to your provider. You'll get whoever is the doctor of the day. Clinicians and doctors just don't have the time that they need to spend with the patients. In fact, some of our providers nowadays are being trained not to even sit down when they're in a room with the patient, because when you sit down, you're inviting conversation. Whereas with concierge practice, your panel is smaller. You keep the practice small and intimate, so you have the time, you have the energy, you get to know your patients on a very personal level.
What truly makes concierge medicine stand out is the personalization offered by practices like Colvita Family Medical Group, allowing doctors to truly get to know their patients. This builds trust between the patient and physician, and it gives patients the confidence that their medical concerns will be addressed by their physician with care and compassion.
I see a number of different doctors for different conditions. How I first heard about Colvita Medical was when we became dissatisfied with our current doctor, called another doctor who had treated my partner that we respected, and she immediately gave us Dr. Davis as a good choice. Colvita is the most efficiently run medical practice that I've ever seen. Everyone in the practice cares for you. Everyone in the practice remembers you and knows you. I think Colvita Family Medical is a magnificent blend of professional excellence and personal attention.
If the events of 2020 have shown us anything, it's that our individual health is more important than ever. With concierge medicine, consumers are given the ability to embrace that philosophy by moving to a system that gives them greater control of their health in cooperation with medical professionals who truly care about each of their patients and take the time to prove it.
Medical technology opens our world for advances in science and medicine. Join us as we learn about these discoveries.
We've all watched as a 220-pound NFL linebacker launches himself in the air, colliding headfirst with a receiver. It's these vicious hits that sports leagues at all levels have tried to eliminate in an effort to reduce concussions caused by a blow to the head. The University of Pittsburgh Medical Center's sports medicine program estimates that between 1.7 and 3 million sports and recreation-related concussions occur each year.
Concussions have become such a problem because I think most people don't realize that they have a concussion. And this is because lots of physicians don't know how to treat those symptoms. They don't know how to treat the pathology. And so they attribute it to something else.
While concussions in sports make the headlines, they can happen to anyone at any time. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported that from 2006 to 2014, the number of traumatic brain injury-related emergency department visits, hospitalizations, and deaths increased by 53% in the United States. As more steps are taken to prevent concussions, advancements are also being made on the treatment side. Over the past decade, the epicenter of this progress has been taking place in Provo, Utah, at Cognitive FX, a leading neuroscience firm that is on the cutting edge of research and treatment.
Cognitive FX is the product of years of research with myself and Dr. Mark Allen, looking at functional MRI and trying to collect a normative database for what we're measuring with basic neuropsychological tests. Now, 20 years later, Dr. Allen and I have been able to use that information and apply it to treatment for this underserved, misunderstood population of patients.
At Cognitive FX, staff pride themselves on providing world-class treatment that is focused on improving patient health. It starts with FNCI, an imaging and testing tool that allows for an individualized, comprehensive approach to each patient's medical care.
FNCI works by picking up blood flow changes that happen when brain cells are really active. So when a brain cell does its work, it needs oxygen and it needs it right away. And so the brain has a method of getting oxygen to brain cells that need it the most right at the second that they need it. And so in concussion, it's very easy for that system to get out of order, where the brain cells are working fine, vascular system's working fine, your heart's working fine, but it's not getting blood to those brain cells that need it the most when they need it the most. So the FNCI allows us to see where that's happening, and then it allows us to fix those areas where blood flow isn't going and keep it from going to areas where it's going too much.
Whereas many medical facilities treat concussions over the course of several months, Cognitive FX condenses that into a 1 to 2 week period. Adding to the likelihood of success is the fact that each patient is supported by a team of up to a dozen specialists who utilize a multidisciplinary approach to addressing the underlying cause of post-concussion symptoms.
So initially, each patient begins with an FNCI scan. This is a very intensive task-based fMRI that allows us to see how that brain is functioning, how it's actually working to do hard things that we have to do in a normal day. That scan is then interpreted and feedback is given to the patient. We then take that individual scan and craft this personalized treatment program for that patient. That patient then undergoes this 1 or 2 week long program and ends with another functional MRI, another FNCI. That post-FNCI shows us how they progressed during that treatment, what therapies were working, what things do we still need to work on.
For many, life after a concussion is unbearable. Persistent headaches, loss of vision, and depression are just some of the symptoms that can impact a person's ability to function without the proper care. These symptoms can linger for months, if not longer.
So on top of that roadmap given by the FNCI, we have professionals, our therapists. And so patients are meeting with 10 different ones of those every day. And those people are the key to delivering the right therapy.
Of all the organs in the body, it's the brain that is among the most important, controlling our actions and reactions. When the brain is injured, we lose a significant part of our humanity. With their average patient improving their brain function by 75% following treatment, Cognitive FX is helping people suffering from concussions recover that which is most important for their lives.
The search for new medical technologies and innovative procedures has led to great advances in healthcare and medicine. Let's discover amazing medical advances and new breakthroughs today on New Frontiers.
If 2020 has taught us anything, it's that our health is more important than ever. In recent years, America has fallen further towards the middle of the pack in the Bloomberg Global Health Index. One of the contributors to this decline is our environment. We live in a toxic world. As we go about our daily lives, we are exposed to toxins that overwhelm our bodies, disrupt our immune system, and challenge our overall health.
Toxicity has a massive impact on the body's internal terrain. Toxins basically create pathogens inside the body.
When toxins build up in the body, so does inflammation and ultimately disease.
So part of my journey in bringing this company to fruition really goes back to my energy levels. I struggle with chronic fatigue. I also had bad muscle fatigue and brain fatigue.
After cancer treatment, my struggles mainly had to do with my ability to be present with my children and have the energy that I need to be the mom that I wanted to be to them. I remember it was a warmer day in the summer and the boys wanted to take dish soap and spread it on the trampoline with the sprinkler underneath. And normally I'd be the one with the hose kind of squirting them and making the rainbows and making it rain and all the things, but I was exhausted. It took everything that I could just to sit out on the patio and watch them. But I remember truly just feeling like I was an outsider looking in on my own life just because I didn't have the energy to participate the way that I used to.
Toxicity and inflammation are among the biggest health problems we face today, impacting our body's natural energy and immune function. In order to increase energy and boost immunity, detox is no longer an option. Many companies have set out to tackle the health challenges we face today. But even with the right natural ingredients and the best intentions, so many of these products cannot keep up with the overload of toxins.
Supplement companies are well-intended. They're providing something that the body needs. We need natural products to help boost the body's function. The key missing piece, though, in all this is how do we protect and deliver those products? So when we swallow a capsule with herbs in it, and we chase it down with water, that capsule is going to open up inside of our stomach. It's basically opening up into Antarctica or Death Valley, a very harsh environment.
Often, supplements never even arrive to the desired location. They lack energy and protection to make it throughout the body. Wellness company Microbe Formulas has dedicated themselves to finding a solution. That solution is the groundbreaking bioactive carbon technology. Through this, they have created a way to safely deliver natural ingredients that support whole body wellness.
Bioactive carbons are composed of extracts of fulvic and humic acids, as well as other carbon sources. They work in many different ways, but one of the key elements is that they're high in energy. They can provide electrons or absorb electrons. They can provide protons. They can provide oxygen to the body. These are the key elements that help heal the body at a cellular level. So one thing that makes our products different from others is that these bioactive carbons are in there to not only energize and heal the body, but they're also there to protect the herbs and the ingredients that are in our products.
The first time I heard about Microbe Formulas was from a good friend of mine after treatment was complete and I was in remission. She just noticed that I was lacking that pep in my step and offered the products to me, and I took them, and within 3 weeks I just kind of noticed a return of my energy.
We know the body was designed to heal. What's holding it back? That's where Microbe Formulas was birthed from, creating solutions to detoxify from this toxic environment that we're in. And when we detoxify the chemicals out of our body, our bodies can heal. Our bodies can function like they were designed to. Our goal at Microbe Formulas is to raise the bar in the supplement industry. There's too many people that are sick and suffering, looking for answers. And we as an industry need to step up and provide better tools, because what worked 10 or 20 years ago doesn't today. The amount of toxins that are being created and also ingested and we're exposed to is at a completely different level than it was 10 or 20 years ago. So products have to work that much better.
This is William Shatner. Join us next time to explore new frontiers and find individuals making the world a better place. Welcome, I'm William Shatner. Business and new markets can open new opportunities and new doors. Let's discover new frontiers in business with this story.
In a recent Red Cross survey, more Americans reported that they think they will one day win the lottery than lose their home in a fire. The reality is exactly the opposite. The chance of winning the lottery, 1 in millions. The chance of dying from exposure to fire or smoke, nearly 1 in 1,500. Every 24 seconds, a fire department responds to a fire somewhere in the United States.
Home fires are very common. Many dangers occur when a fire starts. When you lose a home, you don't just lose a place to dwell. Insurance companies will cover that, but the memories within that home are forever. It's not just furniture, it's pictures, it's mementos, it's your whole life. It's where you might have raised your kids, your pets lived. That's what you lose. You can rebuild it, but those memories don't come back.
Survivors of home fires say that it is one of the most traumatic events of their lives. Watching a home where you created lifelong memories go up in flames can be emotionally devastating.
Fires can be very devastating for survivors because they first question, could I have done something? And fire doesn't always come as top of mind to a human, to anybody. You think oh, that can't happen to me. So when you look back at it, what are the precautions you could have taken to prevent that? Then you look back at what's left of your house. What are you going to do? Who are you going to call? Where am I going to live? You still have to suffer the fact that you're looking at something that was your home, and now it's not.
Despite the frequency of fires, there's hope. Education and public awareness is crucial to preventing home fires. Then, there are simple steps, like installing smoke detectors and having fire extinguishers available in the home, something that nearly 33 million Americans have ignored.
There is a lack of awareness to fires in general. Other than the fact that there are television shows now based on fire departments and everything, like, people don't necessarily think it's going to ever happen to them. Public awareness needs to be escalated. The recognition that this could happen to anyone at any time, whether it's a residential, whether it's a second home, whether it's your personal business, it's real. Because if you gain that awareness, and when that awareness comes, people will take more precautions, be more aware of it, to get the tools necessary to have prevention and suppression within the household.
While awareness and fire detection systems and equipment are vital first steps, they don't always save lives. With advancements in technology, there are innovative ways homeowners can proactively protect themselves and their family and property from the very real danger of fire. Today, we're at Elide Fire USA's headquarters in Peekskill, New York, to see how one company is taking residential fire safety to new heights. CEO and inventor Fanawatnan Kaimart has taken the Elide Fire Extinguishing Ball worldwide. On July 11, 1997, in Phuket, Thailand, Fanawatnan Kaimart witnessed a terrible fire that broke out in the Royal Jomtien Hotel. Deeply saddened by the lives destroyed, this fire was the event that inspired him to develop a better way to fight against fire. With this in mind, the Elide Fire Extinguishing Ball was born. The Elide Fire Extinguishing Ball, a unique, innovative, 24/7 passive active device, goes beyond fire detection. The device actually suppresses and extinguishes home fires.
The technology behind the Elide Fire Extinguishing Ball is that it is unique. It is the only passive and active device available. When I say passive, it means it's mounted. It's a fixed device. When flame hits, the ball activates, dispersing a radius of a monoammonium phosphate powder that extinguishes the fire. It's immediate. Within 3 to 5 seconds, the fire will be out. This is something totally unique and innovative to the fire suppression prevention business because it activates on flame. So if you're not home and a fire starts, the ball will activate, put out the fire before you get home. So you won't walk home to a house that's burnt down. You'll walk home to a house that has damage, but it will have suppressed and prevented the fire from going any further.
Well, I have a vacation house on Cape Cod, and I was signing up with a rental agent, and they needed to put fire safety in the house, smoke detectors, fire extinguishers. So I went online, I started looking around, and I saw on Facebook or someplace, I saw the fireball. And you know, one thing led to another, and I realized it's a good extra measure of safety in addition to what the realtor was requiring. This gave me some peace of mind. Or when you're not there, the extinguishing ball is there. If the fire breaks out, it will go off, put out the fire.
With any fire, the ability to not only save a home, but save a life is often a matter of seconds. The Elide Fire Extinguishing Ball can deliver those seconds, providing an additional line of defense and helping to ensure those precious seconds fighting the fire before firefighters arrive.
The Elide Fireball is automatic. It's going to activate on its own. It's very portable. It could be simply thrown or rolled into a fire. You don't have to stand as close to the fire. And it can be mounted above those areas in a home that are known to start fires.
Fire statistics show that for far too many, fires can invade our personal space and throw our lives into turmoil. With innovative technology like the Elide Fire Extinguishing Ball, we can take steps to ease your mind so we can ensure that there is truly no place like home.
Markets and opportunity are evolving every day. Let's discover new frontiers in business with this story.
Technology has connected us in ways like never before. With a mobile device, we can talk, text, email, and share photos and videos with friends and family, whether they're in the same room with us or half the world away. Technology has also impacted our personal finances, from the way we shop to the way we bank. Perhaps no industry is indicative of technology's influence on society than cryptocurrency.
So cryptocurrency is a term that's being used more and more. You can think of it as the modern internet money or digital money, right? The interesting thing about cryptocurrency is it actually is a mean to transact value from one person to another without needing a middle trusted party. So it's more efficient It can be faster, more robust, and it isn't dependent on any institution or centralized authority.
While cryptocurrency has been in existence since 2009, it made its history and news in 2017 when the digital currency's value soared 1,400%. That's when investors of all types started to take notice that cryptocurrency is a viable alternative to traditional banking.
I think cryptocurrencies become attractive to consumers because now they're in a world where they can control their own money. We can directly communicate with merchants to get the products we want without these middlemen taking fees in the middle. I think it's also a speculative game where people are able to invest and speculate in currencies as well.
Despite cryptocurrency's rapid growth, for many it remains a mystery. That is where digital currencies like PIVX are changing the game. PIVX became the first cryptocurrency to translate its website and materials to over 30 native languages, providing unparalleled access and information to this digital financial asset. Just as important as education and ease of access is security and privacy. At PIVX, they place an emphasis on both because it believes privacy is a basic human right.
I think education, privacy, and security are paramount with any crypto project. We absolutely need these. And at PIVX, we have amazing information channels, videos, dev team in Discord able to chat. We have a fully developed support team to build this stuff. Now we have a great security team working full-time on the project. And I think that all crypto projects need these things to integrate into their project because then people feel safe and it's a good investment space.
Unlike its predecessors, including Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Dash, PIVX functions on a proof-of-stake algorithm that is less reliant on resources, making it eco-friendly. This approach also rewards all participants, as opposed to placing power in the hands of a select few that other digital currencies embrace.
Proof of stake is a term used to describe a consensus algorithm in the blockchain sector. You typically hear proof of work. The other big one is proof of stake, and it's a way to validate the entire blockchain as being legitimate. One of the big advantages to proof of stake is that it's way more environmentally friendly. So take PIVX, for example. You can run the entire PIVX network using one wind turbine or about 20 solar panel installations. So that's the entire power needed to run our global entire network. Bitcoin, it takes about the power from one nuclear power plant. So for a long-term scalable, proof of stake is the way to go.
The PIVX community is one that encompasses the entire globe, which makes sense, considering that 2/3 of the world is either unbanked or underbanked. That is why cryptocurrency is being adopted on every continent, from South America to Africa to North America to Asia. Everywhere, people are discovering the power and freedom of being their own bank.
Cryptocurrencies are already changing the world, and they're already beginning to make a difference in the underserved populations. We can think about the traditional financial sectors where there's places that didn't have banking infrastructure now able to have accounts. They can send and receive finances, and they're leapfrogging over the legacy systems that many of us experience. But it extends beyond the financial market. There's implications already being made in medical records, in land, in deeds, in trusts, and legal as well. So it basically hits every sector of life that we currently experience.
When it comes to cryptocurrency, the future is as limitless as the technology that has made it possible. Understanding the future of this financial sector is the first step to realizing the potential it offers to all of us as individuals and as a society.
Cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, they're already changing the way we do business. They're already changing the landscape of life. We might not see the direct effects, but many of the processes that were put in place with the invention of the internet and then modern banking are being transferred into a blockchain cryptocurrency-based ecosystem. So we're going to experience those. They might not be drastic changes, but a lot of what we're used to feeling will be running on a blockchain soon.
The opportunity to make this world a better place has never been better. Join us today in discovering those that are making a difference in our world.
Star Trek once famously labeled space as the final frontier, where dreams take shape, exploration becomes reality, and innovation begins. Space travel no longer seems far-fetched. Mini satellites will improve the way we communicate, transmit information, and monitor climate change.
The allure of space is just the ability to push boundaries, whether it's pushing boundaries in discovery and exploration, or more tangible for us, pushing the boundaries of materials and manufacturing. Space exploration has always been a catalyst for these new developments and these new discoveries. For over 5 decades, ERG Aerospace has been working with industry leaders and leading research organizations throughout the world in a variety of industries, whether that's aerospace, defense, space, biomedical, or industrial. ERG has been able to leverage a lot of the gains and the research that we've done to be able to provide high-performance solutions with different products and with different applications throughout each of these industries.
In the future, global space programs will increase in complexity. This will require resources that have proven to be effective, not just in the lab, but in the field.
Some of the tools that are needed to expand space exploration worldwide are being developed every day across the globe. In order to tackle the harsh and relentless environment of space, you need systems that are multifunctional. They need to be lightweight, they need to be compact, and above all, they have to be reliable. You only get one chance when you're in space, and it's got to perform when it's time to perform. Here at ERG, we're taking that step further every day with our research and development, constantly looking at new materials, new structures, new ways of using kind of old designs. We draw on a lot of experience across a lot of different industries. Our material is pretty versatile, so we can apply something we learned in the biomedical field to help with an aerospace product and use it in a way that no one thought possible.
The secret to ERG's success lies in a material known as DuoCell. An open-celled, solid ligament structure, DuoCell can be made from a variety of materials, from aluminum, copper, carbon, or silicon carbide. It has effectively been used in several NASA missions, ExoMars robotic exploration of Mars, and by the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency.
DuoCell is a material that ERG Aerospace manufactures. It's an open-celled structure made of a variety of base materials, whether that's metals, carbons, or ceramics. DuoCell is an extremely lightweight but high-performing material that we're able to customize to a specific application, whether it's a thermal application, a structural, or an energy absorption application. DuoCell can be configured to meet the needs of the system or the equipment that is getting utilized in.
DuoCell can help make designs lighter, stronger, more compact, more efficient. Even though we've been around for 52 years, we feel that the potential of the material is still relatively untapped.
I think what the DuoCell foam offers is multiple functionality. It's good for certainly heat transfer, which is the area of my interest, but it's also good for vibration and acoustic dampening. And so I believe that that is something that would help the aerospace products become smaller, lighter, and more efficient.
More than 50 years after its inception, ERG Aerospace has witnessed a transformation in where space technology is going. It is why ERG's clients have expanded from government agencies like NASA to private ones. With each, ERG's goals remain the same: to discover and develop new solutions to challenges in space.
Some of the new applications and clients are constantly evolving as the world landscape changes. Here at ERG, we're constantly pushing our R&D efforts. We're looking at new materials that we can make the foams from, so titaniums, stainless steels, Inconels, different ceramics. We're really exploring the ability of the structure itself to be multifunctional and combining properties like variable pore size, variable density throughout it to optimize the structure further than it has been to this point.
For the dreamers among us, there's a saying: don't tell me the sky's the limit when there's footprints on the moon. Since 1967, ERG Aerospace has been doing just that thanks to its DuoCell technology. DuoCell has helped take us to places we never dreamed of going. As the industry continues to evolve, DuoCell will allow us to go even further, so all of us will benefit.
From time to time, an individual or an organization rises up to make a difference in this world. Let's discover and watch now those making a difference.
Clean air is in short supply these days. With the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and how it is adversely affecting the population in every corner of the world, we must look at the best ways to combat and neutralize airborne illnesses that are spreading unfiltered throughout residential, commercial, and public indoor spaces.
The prevalent nature of air purification and the negative impacts that we have towards society is the fact that we spend 80 to 90% of our time indoors. And anybody with a suppressed immune system, whether that be a grandmother at home that just got treated for cancer, to a person who just might get sick all the time, it's very important that we treat that air, and that's where bipolar ionization comes in. Ions are created outdoors naturally. Our goal is to create the same ion-rich environment indoors without creating the harmful byproducts sometimes associated with outdoor air.
Typical residential and commercial HVAC systems do not provide any protection against the most common airborne illnesses that include COVID-19, common influenza, MRSA, and poisonous mold spores. Air filters contained in these units to trap dust are simply not enough to combat airborne bacteria.
It's important for homes and businesses to have clean air in today's environment so people can feel safe. If people know there's a purification system installed, they're going to be more willing to go to that business and go to that restaurant, and they're going to feel safer in their home having guests over for holidays and family gatherings. LuxAir's products have been around since the 1970s. This is not new technology. It's probably new to you because of the pandemic and you're doing more research, but these products are used in hospitals, emergency rooms, ICUs since the 1970s. So it's a trusted product. It's been scientifically proven in an independent laboratory to work and be effective at neutralizing COVID-19, the SARS virus, influenza, and mold and bacteria.
Each of these illnesses can negatively affect a healthy immune system and cause severe illness in persons who have compromised immune systems. Let's take a look at what happens when the people we care about the most are adversely affected by dangerous airborne bacteria. Just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, one firm is on a mission to reduce airborne pollutants in large-scale commercial facilities, not only in America, but throughout the world.
Our teams go into your facilities and we measure the square footages and look at your HVAC and central air systems, and we design a custom system that's going to help you guys the best.
Today, we're at LuxAir Purification's national headquarters to learn more about needlepoint bipolar ionization, a state-of-the-art process that works to clean the air of pollutants, much like sunlight does in the atmosphere.
Our needlepoint ionization products are installed directly inside your existing HVAC system. They work by creating positive and negative, in essence, bipolar ions that travel through your system and into your home or office, attacking airborne particles and contaminants at their source, creating a safer, cleaner environment. So you're breathing the cleanest air possible.
For me, having LuxAir Purification here at our facility, it changes the game for us. You know, my members are concerned. The climate that we live in now, it's all about how safe we can make this environment for them. And by having the purification system here, it lets them get back to what they come here for, and that is becoming more fit, better versions of themselves, and not having to worry about, is this a safe place to be?
With any indoor system, it's paramount that they be engineered to reduce airborne bacteria and viruses, eliminate mold, and prevent contaminants from entering. These designs must take into account the needs and demands for those working and living in these spaces.
Because there are so many silent airborne enemies out there trying to get all of us, we custom design a system that's going to work specifically for you. Every place is different. It doesn't matter whether you have a hospital, an office, a home. We are going to make sure that we custom design something that fits your exact needs.
Recently, the New York Times reported that the average American lives to be 79 years old, and 69 of those years are spent indoor. As an indoor species, we should try to breathe the best air possible inside, author Catherine Gammon wrote. How do we get there? We'll let the experts answer that question.
LuxAir products work by creating ions that bond with and destroy bacteria and viruses. The ions also cause the contaminants to cluster together, making them easier to get caught and collected in the HVAC system's filter. Additionally, these ions neutralize odorous aerosols and gases while breaking down the VOC's molecular structure.
If we want to drastically improve the indoor air quality in our homes and commercial buildings, scientific research has shown that air purification systems, when done right, will neutralize dangerous airborne bacteria. When it comes to the health of our loved ones, it's a sound investment, especially with the current risks posed by the COVID-19 pandemic.
At Lux Air Purification Systems, we have a saying: we're trying to close the loop. You not only get sick by things that you touch, but you get sick because of airborne viruses that are traveling through the air. By purifying the air, we stop airborne viruses or airborne illnesses or contaminants from landing on surfaces that you may touch.
Internet technology and companies have been changing the way we do things for the last 20 years. Let's discover new technology and how it's changing our world.
On LinkedIn, blockchain has now climbed to the top of the list when it comes to skills that employers want. It is just the latest sign of the rapid growth the disruptive digital technology has experienced since first arriving on the scene in 2009. A cryptographically secured, decentralized database that is used to process transactions without centralized management or data ownership. Blockchain's impact is being felt well beyond Bitcoin, which was its first implementation.
To understand where blockchain can help us in day-to-day tasks, think about how we identify ourselves in front of government entities or large companies or healthcare providers and so on. So usually all the information is already in a computer. But when we need to proving our identity online is a very difficult task, and blockchain has one of the building blocks necessary to solve this problem.
4 years after blockchain emerged, a team of seasoned software professionals joined to develop advanced blockchain technology. This team later formed Gelurita Swiss, a Switzerland-based firm that creates innovative public, private, and permissioned blockchain solutions which can solve the business needs of companies, startups, nonprofits, artists, and academic institutions.
We incorporated Gelurita in Switzerland in 2017 here in beautiful Lugano, and we want to drive the mainstream adoption of blockchain technology and to make our products more easily accessible for businesses and cryptocurrency and blockchain projects that want to use them.
Gelurita is really one of the blockchain veterans. We've been in this business for more than 6 years, I would say. And we have built a platform that is simple but stable and reliable. It is very energy efficient because of the consensus algorithm it uses. It is implemented in an industry standard programming language and using tried and tested technology.
Because blockchain is still in its infancy, there are many unknowns. The sector can be confusing, overwhelming, and complex. That's where visionary firms like Gelurita Swiss are playing a major role by making sure this complex technology becomes accessible to everyone and ultimately benefits the customer bottom line.
Without a lot of commitments, blockchain technology allows you to tokenize something like real estate into many tokens, and then you can have you can buy participation in an office, for example, get a revenue share of the rent, and when you're done or you need the money back and so on, you can just sell these tokens at market value and stop your investment. So you no longer need to get into such heavy commitments in order to invest in real estate, and your real estate participation tokens are always liquid, and you can always pull them out and use the money for something else.
Perhaps the most prominent blockchain application is cryptocurrency. While Gelurita Swiss has targeted this financial market to provide ease of use and improve efficiencies for both end users and businesses, it has made its mark in other sectors, including crowdfunding, real estate, gamification, supply chain, voting, public administration, the Internet of Things, and marketplaces.
Some of our biggest competitive advantages are that our blockchain technology is simple to use, very flexible, and energy efficient.
As blockchain continues to grow and evolve, visionary firms like Gelurita Swiss will play an ever-important role in continuing to spearhead the development of this disruptive technology while making sure it remains focused on solving everyday real-world issues.
This is William Shatner. Join us next time to explore new frontiers and find individuals making the world a better place.
The preceding